Joining us now, I'm not even trying to contest Dr. Abati at all. I know I can't do it. Is Ojinika Jinix Okpe, Lady in Yellow, with stories trending around the world.
But we'll try.
I can't contest. Dr.
Yesterday you were spot on.
So you're not putting me on the spot now, Oji, but the only thing I know is that you look amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It's a cross between yellow and lemon green.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I'll agree with you. I think it's almond. I don't know. I have no clue. Good morning, Rufai. You did well. Good morning, Adeso. You did well. We are missing Dr. Abati. Ayomi, my Ayomi day. How are you doing? Well,
good. I'm very well, thanks.
Well, fantastic.
I like the way Oji personalizing your name, Ayomi.
Yeah, Ayomi. We're missing Dr. Abati.
Yes.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. Some governors of the All Progressives Congress have reacted to President Muhammadu Buhari's nationwide broadcast, in which he directed the Central Bank of Nigeria to extend the validity of the old 200 Naira notes till April 10th. On Thursday, the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-rufai, alleged that the scarcity of the Naira and fuel shortage are part of a plot to disrupt the elections in order to ensure an interim government takes over. In a state broadcast, the Kaduna governor also stated that the president's directive is a disregard for the rule of law and urged residents of the state to hold on to their old and new Naira notes as they remain legal tender in the state pending the Supreme Court's decision.
On behalf of the Kaduna State government, I wish to assure you that none of you would lose the money you have in old notes. Let no artificial or illegal deadline frighten you. Whether you live in towns, villages, or in our isolated rural communities, do not feel stampeded to deposit your old notes into the banks. Hold on to them. Continue to use them as legal tender as ordered by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. No deadline can render them worthless, ever. The law is on your side. The Central Bank of Nigeria Act 2007 in Section 20, subsection 3, and the Bills of Exchange Act both oblige the Central Bank of Nigeria to recognize your old notes and give you value in new notes whenever you bring them to the CBN, even in the next 100 years. Therefore, as your governor, I wish to assure you that the Kaduna State government, in collaboration with elected legislators, our traditional institution, elected local government councils, markets and traders associations, and so on, will help you collect, record, document, collect, and deliver all your old notes to the Kaduna branch of the Central Bank on your behalf into the new ones immediately after the elections.
Well, in a statement, the governor went further to tell the people of Kaduna State that it is important for them to know that contrary to the public pronouncement and apparent good intentions, the Naira redesign policy was conceived and sold to the president by officials who completely lost out in the Gubernatorial and Presidential Primaries of the APC in June 2022. His statement read in part: once Asiwaju Bola Tinubu emerged as the candidate in June 2022 and subsequently did not pick one of them as his running mate, this currency redesign policy was conceived to ensure that the APC presidential candidate is deprived of what they alleged as a humongous war chest. They also sought to achieve any one or more of the following objectives.
Number one, to create a nationwide shortage of cash so that citizens are incited to vote against APC candidates across the board, resulting in massive losses for the party in all the elections. Number two, ensure that the cash crunch is so serious, along with the contrived and enduring fuel shortage existing since September 2022, that the 2023 elections do not hold at all, leading to an interim national government to be led by a retired army general. And number three, sustain the climate of shortage of fuel, food and other necessities, leading to mass protests, violence and breakdown of law and order that will provide a fertile foundation for a military takeover.
Rufai, while I catch my breath, a lot of people have said that his statements were quite insightful.
They are. Oji, I shuddered in disbelief yesterday when I read through the statement. It was shocking, the level that these politicians are plunging the country. And please, for the sake of peace, I beg, politicians should cool it down. Oji, this has gotten out of hand. As we speak today, this morning, Lagos is on fire. Parts of Mile 12, and other parts, I hear parts of Ikorodu, and some other parts. People are running amok. Citizens are scampering for their lives. I beg the politicians, this election will come and go. Nigeria is more than all of us. This country has existed before most of us. It will continue to exist after most of us. Let us not plunge this country into chaos. He made an insightful statement by saying that some people are planning a coup because they didn't. I think the security authority should ask him further on this. We can't allow our country to be plunged this way. The last person that made this same claim, after when he got to DSS, the music changed. He said he could have done better. All of this, is it because of the Naira policy? At first, let me give you a trajectory of what happened. I just hope I get the time. At first, when this policy was announced, we know how they went after Mr. Emefiele with the DSS and terrorism charges. Now they've forgotten about that. Secondly, now, we know how they went to the president. The day they got an extension, they were happy. The president said, give me 7 further days. They said, no, they went to court. We know how they continued with rejoinders on this case, just to be able to extend the case. Now we're at this point. The president gave a directive. A governor of his state countered the directive of his sovereign. What level of lawlessness are we getting into? Yes, the Supreme Court has ruled on this. We should obey. I'm not going to say let's break the rule of law. But the president came back and minuted on something. And you, a governor, gave a counter speech. This was the same governor that didn't give a counter speech when Greenfield student died. He didn't give press conferences. This same governor in his speech also assumed the position of responsibility of the CBN governor by dictating what monetary policy should be. By saying the CBN has printed 400 billion. So Professor Doyin Salami said it's supposed to want 1.2 trillion. So who do we listen to now about monetary policy? Is it the CBN governor or Professor Doyin Salami? And let me even challenge his logic further. 98% of Nigerians don't have 500,000 naira in their account. If truly the CBN governor has printed 400 billion, like he said, so where is the money? Is it not the same politicians that are hoarding it? Then he went further to say all sorts of things. He tries to pass the buck. He claims that they took the government to court because of hardship. This same Mr. El-rufai has prevailed over the highest level of hardship on the people of Kaduna State. Oji, he has sacked close to 60,000 people. Please, go and fact check me. All these governors that took the case to court, the Kogi State governor pays half salaries. We also saw a video when his wife was dashing people 1 million naira, but they were paying half salaries. His family currently is having the case to answer with the EFCC. Or is it the Kaduna State governor that we all saw on public television how he was putting dollars into his babariga? He took the man that released the video to court. He had to withdraw the case because in fact, the court ordered him to pay the man 800,000 naira for his legal fees. Oji, I'm not saying Nigerians are not in pain. Please, Nigerians, I know this, and I implore the CBN to ensure that the logistics is done to get this money out. And please, banks and POS operators, please cooperate.
Absolutely.
But we can't throw our country away.
You see, Rufai, he's not the only governor that has, attacked Buhari over this new Naira. I believe also, like you mentioned, the Kano State governor, as well as the Jigawa State governor yesterday. But, a lot of people are saying it's not just that we are suffering. We know Nigerians are suffering, but it's obvious that it is the APC that is showing that they are the ones that will suffer the more. I'll come to you, Ayo. Let me take what the CBN said yesterday. The governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele, on Thursday appealed to Nigerians to remain calm as measures are in place to ensure improved access to cash after President Muhammadu Buhari's directive to the Apex Bank to extend the validity of the old 200 Naira notes till April 10th.
I can only just appeal to Nigerians. Let's allow this policy to work. This policy is one policy that goes to solve the problem of reducing corruption and illicit financial flows. This policy goes to resolve some of the problems in the economy. This policy also goes to reducing the level of insecurity in the country. So these three issues, which are the tripod of this administration's policy, are all embedded in this policy. I have met with about 15 banks this morning, and we've given them directives about how they should make all the old 200 Naira notes available, effective today. And I can assure Nigerians that this will help to reduce the pains.
The governor has appealed to Nigerians to remain calm. Can we just wait and see what comes out of this?
Absolutely. I think the outburst or the address or the state address by Governor Nasir El-rufai is important to really analyze and to critically see beyond what he said, in terms of the fact that you then see that as a leader, he's not thinking about the good of the people. Because sometimes, you wouldn't cut your nose to spite your face, or when you're upset, understanding the polity and the fact that people are already infuriated, you don't want to add fuel, as it were, to fire. So in terms of that general analysis of his speech at this time and what he said, the content of what he said and how it affects his people is one to talk about. So like you mentioned, Rufai, this is the point where you're hearing that there have been attacks around, people are angry. And therefore, as a leader, what you want to do first is to douse the tension, not to stoke up the tension. Unfortunately, what he's done with that speech is to stoke up the tension. And so he hasn't acted in a way, it belies his position in saying that he's doing this for the good of his people. If you're doing this for the good of the people, then you do not want any more outbreaks of violence, you don't want any more agitations. So first of all, you go into the, into the negotiation room, perhaps, and think, what is the best response, even though I don't agree with it, for the good of the people? As Rufai had mentioned, one of the things we've said again and again is that when it's come up to very critical and important situations like security in Kaduna and the arrest in southern Kaduna, he hasn't taken this much fervor and passion to deal with it as he has done with the Naira redesign. The statements that he has made, credited to him in terms of a planned coup, interim government, these are weighty statements, particularly from the leader of a state, whom people are loyal to and would act on his word. If violence broke out yesterday in Kaduna State, then he's actually responsible. If violence breaks out in the next few days, they will cite what he said and say, Governor El-rufai said X, Y, Z. Do they think about the people they represent? These are the questions that Nigerians should ask. And just to end on what Rufai said as well, that you then begin to wonder, what is this passion for this angst against, this politicizing this Naira redesign? Because that's what they're doing now, making it a thing of, you want to scuttle our plans. Why is it so important? Governor Ganduje was saying they should have done the policy 7 years ago. Okay, they didn't do it 7 years ago. They want to do it now. What is it? What is the big deal about it?
Yes.
Nigerian people should see the signs beyond what the governors are saying and understand that this is self-serving very largely and not be used as a pawn for violence. Do not let them take your life because of statements like this. Let us remain calm. Let us see what will happen in the next few days. We've begun to adjust to this policy. Let us see how best it would help Nigerians.
Absolutely. Well, in the meantime, a video that went viral on Thursday showed some alleged businessmen in Gombe State being questioned as they arrived at the Central Bank of Nigeria to return bags containing the old 500 and 1,000 Naira notes in the sum of over 50 million Naira. I mean, Rufai, look at that. Why did it take so long for these guys to return the money?
And everybody knew that there was going to be an expiry date. So these are part of the things. When the guys were questioned, they said, they do flour business, that they make a lot of turnover on a daily. I mean, I wasn't hearing the language they were speaking there, that they do a lot of turnover. But this also speaks volumes. Are they going to say they were living in a cave? They were not aware? So probably somebody somewhere was giving them assurances to keep the money, that they will convert it. And please, let us say the way it is. Two things I'd like to point out here. Governor El-Rufai was caught on video telling his people to spend the money side by side with the old notes, even before the Supreme Court judgment was made. Please, can we ask, what did he know prior to this time?
Absolutely.
Can we ask, what did he know? So people were probably giving them assurances. I'm sure it's when they see now that the game is up, that's why they are bringing the monies out. Let's just be careful in the country. The empirical argument is 98% of the bank owners in this country don't have up to 500,000 naira in their bank accounts. So if they don't have up to, are they the ones that are withdrawing all these billions? So if the 400 billion like Governor El-Rufai was claimed was given, and I don't even know when he became a custodian on monetary policy matters over the CBN, if that money is out in circulation, so isn't that money supposed to be enough for people with petty cash? He claims that the CBN said they need 700 billion for people with petty cash to stabilize things. But there are other modes of payment like e-Naira, electronic payment that has increased to over 30-something trillion. Please, I beg, for the love of mercy, Nigerians are suffering, but please, let's calm things down. It's going to get better. The CBN has to do more as regards logistics. The 200 Naira notes have been brought back now. Please, let's get it out. But please, Lagos and stay calm. The violence and the scampering for lives this morning is unwarranted. Ikorodu, let peace reign. My 12, let peace reign. Police, go out there. Stop all those perpetrating crime. We can't afford for Lagos to be on fire. Absolutely.
Speaking on the old 200 Naira that has been brought back, there was that picture that was circulating on social media, if the director can pull it up, of that statement saying it's only these two cows that saved the old 200 Naira notes. Buhari, no, they take cow play. I just thought I should pull that up on a lighter note. But it is out there, you know, and it will help reduce the whole tension. Because what are they talking about, the masses? It's the masses that need the money, that have the money, and that denomination is what the masses have. So let's see if this will help out. All right, we'll take another story. Reactions have trailed the endorsement of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, by the governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom, who on Thursday said that Obi surpassed other candidates, including Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, by age and capacity, among other virtues. Ortom's endorsement is the latest boost towards Peter Obi's ambition in winning next week's presidential election, following the likes of former Ondo State Governor Olusegun Mimiko, his Cross River State counterpart Donald Duke, former Deputy National Chairman of the PDP, Chief Bode George, and former Senate President Ayim Pius Ayim in backing the Labour Party flag bearer. Well, during the town hall meeting held at the Royal Choice Inn in Makurdi, Ortom lauded the qualities of Peter Obi, whom he hailed as an outstanding candidate who will root out insecurity and unite the country. Let's take a listen before we take some reactions.
In this 2023, fashion a new Nigeria. Nigeria that will give us equity, fairness, and justice. The PDP have failed Nigerians. APC have failed Nigerians. Political parties have failed Nigerians. Even the Labour Party have failed Nigerians. So we must look at individuals, those people who can deliver. This is not about party. I am not in Labour Party, but I'm working for Peter Obi. Peter Obi will make sure that we sleep with our two eyes closed. Peter Obi and Daddy are the youngest people, so the youth must rise up and support Peter Obi. Obi, 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 Obi,
People are now saying it's no longer the G5. It's officially now the G4 governors. Let's see if they still exist. We'll take a tweet. This is from Tosin, who wrote, Samuel Ortom, governor of Benue State, is willing to forego his senatorial ambition. He openly endorsed Peter Obi for president, even when other G5 governors are hiding behind one finger. The first governor to support the presidential ambition of Peter Obi. Amazing. Ayo.
Well, on that one, Governor Samuel Ortom got a court stay for the PDP and INEC to not disqualify him or expel him from the party or contesting on the party's platform for the senatorial seat. So at least until the final judgment is heard, he's still going to run on the platform of the PDP. Interesting times, as we said earlier today. Interesting times, interesting news coming up. This is not new. On the 25th of December, when Mr. Peter Obi went to spend Christmas with the IDP at the IDP campaign in Makurdi, in Benue State, Governor Samuel Ortom had said that if he could, he would, go around campaigning for Mr. Peter Obi. Yes. So people had said to make assumptions that, is he, expressing where he's leaning towards? But he didn't come out to say clearly. Yesterday, he came out, to say it without any shadow of doubt that this is whom he's standing by. Then he said something really important about the fact that it's not along party lines. He's still a member of the PDP, but he's looking at the candidates who can take Nigeria out of this insecurity and who's good enough to run. He's young, he's vibrant, he's competent, hence he's going to go with Mr. Peter Obi. The interesting thing is that Benue State also has a PDP governorship candidate as with Labour Party. Is it going to end just at the presidential candidate?
It appears so.
Yes,
and that's what they've been saying.
And then is Mr. Peter Obi going to is he going to return the favor by supporting perhaps his own the candidate that he's backing? Because there have been conversations around that in the past as to what then happens. I remember when Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu saw Governor Wike in Rivers State, they said asking because Mr. Tonye didn't go with them to the meeting. That, okay, so what's going to happen to the governorship candidate? APC has a governorship candidate. So these are the things that happen when a party member supports another party member's candidate, and at the risk of then it becomes quite interesting for the Nigerian people. But Mr. Peter Obi has one more supporter from the PDP.
Interesting. If I come to you. In the meantime, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi is continuing his campaign in the southeast. On Thursday, he met with traders in Imo State, where he promised massive economic development in the state. He also told traders to hold him responsible if he fails to deliver democratic dividends to them. Peter Obi's campaign in Imo State follows his visit to traders in Nnewi, in his home state of Anambra on Wednesday, where he urged his supporters to shun tribal and religious sentiments while casting their votes in next week's election.
We want to build a Nigeria where now Nigeria will say, I'm from the east, west, or south. No, we want Nigerians to be proud to be Nigerians.
Amazing. It's not only in Anambra and in Imo State that he's been talking to traders. I think it's quite strategic as well, Rufai.
I mean, he's consolidating his base picture. That's what he's doing. He's done with his own lap of campaigns, but now he's coming back to his base. The people that are going to echo the voters. And it's very strategic.
This was in Lagos.
But hey, most importantly, I please advise politicians. The things you say you do for the people, we campaign in poetry, govern in prose. It's not the time that Nigerians will not ask you, you said this, you will not do it. Please. And this goes to all politicians. But sadly, Ayo, just to quickly make an allusion to a point you made, the sad reality is somebody called me yesterday that was at that rally and said in Port Harcourt with Bola Tinubu, and said, did you notice that Bola Tinubu did not openly endorse Tonye? If you check the initial deal they were doing, even when they were still talking about Mike meeting, it was said that probably Wike, one of the things Wike requested was for sacrifice Tonye, and
he wasn't there at the meeting.
He wasn't there at the meeting. That might be the sad reality. I mean, a lot is playing out.
A lot.
So it just shows you politicians, if their interests align, they move on.
8 days to go, guys.
And they can sacrifice anybody.
8 days to go. Well, thank you all. Thank you both for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all next week.